What's up, you guys? Welcome to the January 14th edition of NBA 3-Ball presented by Established to Run. I'm your host, Mike Gallagher. Getting ready to talk some NBA news, big news item today, and some NBA basketball over the next 10 minutes. Hit us with the thumbs up and make sure you're subscribing, please. And let's talk about this big trade, team by team, starting with the Nets, as the big news is they get James Harden. They lose Jarrett Allen, so a lot of front court depth lost, but they obviously get the league's best scorer over the last handful of seasons. And just starting with Harden, I think this is good for him. He goes from a situation where he didn't want to be there. This has been ongoing for a while. Obviously, Woj has been reporting this for over a month now, that Harden wanted to go somewhere else. And it's worth noting that the Nets were the first team we heard about. We heard about the Sixers, we heard about the Miami Heat for a little bit, Bucks, other teams, but it was always Brooklyn. And so for him to go where he wanted to go is great. And this guy, he's still going to have probably close to a 30 usage rate. Within just the Westbrook minutes last year, he was 36 and 7 per 36, 31 usage rate. So with just Durant out there, you're probably thinking pretty close to 30 usage rate and pretty close to 30 points per game with the goodie stats, with the defensive stats. So he's going to be flirting with top fantasy value for season long and for DFS with just Durant. When Kyrie comes into the mix, Kyrie's obviously the biggest loser in this because I think Kyrie is a very good off-ball player. We saw him he was like literally one of the best off-ball players in the league when he's with LeBron, so that's good for him. As far as how he could fit into that role, it's obviously bad for his fantasy value, but he's got to come back. We don't even know when that's going to happen, so don't even count on that happening. And Durant, I think he's fine too. We saw him hold really nice value with Golden State. His assist numbers spiked. His block numbers were really good. He's going to play more small ball 5. We saw him play great in that role today against the Knicks. I think he's going to be really good too. I still think he doesn't lose very much value because he does so many things well, and they're going to suit this offense to those two guys. With we even saw some KD Steph screen action, and Steph isn't the same on-ball player that Harden is, so they're going to run that. And I think that's going to be so hard to stop. I mean, these guys are going to be so efficient. Durant's already off to a ridiculous efficiency season at 68 true shooting, so I think he's going to be really good. So all these guys are going to be fine. In the short term, Bruce Brown has really held it down. He's not a scorer. He's rebounding really well. He can assist a little bit. Steals are decent, so he's going to have some low-end value while we wait for Kyrie. And again, I don't know when Kyrie's coming back. So yeah, and then moving to the front court, DeAndre Jordan back in the starting lineup today. Probably looking at minutes in the low 20s as they go small ball. Don't forget, back in the preseason, Steve Nash said that Jeff Green's best position was probably small ball 5. And we haven't really seen any of DeAndre Jordan with 3 primary offensive guys. So only 9 minutes all season with KD, Kyrie, and LeVert. Obviously, Kyrie missing time is a factor, but still 9 minutes is real light. And I think they're going to run Jeff Green out there for a lot. So I don't think that DeAndre Jordan's going to get to consistently 24, 26 minutes once everybody comes back. Obviously, you still have Nicholas Claxton, who's, on paper, he fits great. Passing big man, switchable big man on defense. He makes a lot of sense to carve out a role here. Reggie Perry had a pretty good day today. But, keep an eye on Nick Claxton if you have a lot of IR spots in the season-long league. I picked him up in my 30-man league, and I'm really pumped about it. But, so that's kind of it for the Nets. Moving to the Rockets, and they get a pretty big haul. They get Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodions Kurucs, 3 first-round picks, the Milwaukee first from the Cavs, and then 4 pick swaps. So that's a lot. Interesting that they took on Oladipo over LeVert to save a little bit of money, which, again, kind of tells you that PJ Tucker is, going to get traded here. You don't trade for all these picks and sit on a player like PJ Tucker that fits on so many teams could use a PJ Tucker. So keep that in mind for Jayshawn Tate, who's off to a good start for his career. This is kind of a stash, but starting with Victor Oladipo, I like this opportunity for him. He goes from an offense that's going to have more space. You're going from, it was so heavy pick and roll, Brogdon, Sabonis. So getting away from that and being able to be more of a free-flowing kind of a player, which is kind of when he's at his best. Like before Brogdon was there, that's how he played. He just kind of let the game come to him, try to get transition points, and that's how they're going to want to play. That's how Silas is going to want to use him. So I think this is a John Wall, Christian Wood pick and roll. It's going to kind of be their main offense, but I think there's a bigger opportunity for Oladipo to kind of do what he does best, especially running the floor and scoring in transition a little bit more in this style of offense. Other than that, Christian Wood and DeMarcus Cousins also are winners because A, Harden's gone, more usage, and B, once Tucker goes, you would think they're going to actually run that Cousins-Wood combo that they've been talking so much about, especially in the preseason, when Cousins was saying, hey, I'll play the 5, Wood's going to play the 4 and be more in space and guarding on the perimeter. So those guys would definitely be a little bit more winners. Eric Gordon also, again, you're just talking about more scoring availability here, so he'll be a little bit an increased role. And even Daniel House may get a few more shots, all this and that. So, and then John Wall's your obvious, probably biggest winner from this. Statistically, he has not been great with Harden and Wood at a 13-6-6 per 36 line in 114 minutes. 41 minutes with Wood and without Harden, he was at 27. So that's a big bump in points per 36. So he's a big winner. He's out with the knee issue right now, so hopefully it's just minor. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Moving to the Pacers, and I don't really think much changes here because you just think about it. You think LeVert's going to play a little bit less than Oladipo is playing. Meanwhile, LeVert's going to handle the ball a little bit more. So I take that as far as affecting the other players in the offense as a kind of a net neutral. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be still heavy Brogdon, Sabonis pick and roll, and that's what it's going to be. So, I mean, Aaron Holiday may be affected a little bit from losing some second unit ball handling. TJ McConnell when he comes back, congratulations to him. But yeah, again, nothing I would really worry about. If anything, maybe it helps Brogdon and Sabonis just a smidge because you're going from a player who's not going to play as much and take more shots. Lastly, to the Cavs, really the big loser of the day is Jared Allen, who goes from dominating and earning the starting role and starting minutes as the center in Brooklyn to now Andre Drummond's backup. Drummond's a big minute guy for now. Short term, you're probably looking at 28-20 split in favor of Drummond. I don't think they're going to run them out there together, despite how Bickerstaff has used him next to JaVale McGee. He trusts him in that 10 to 15 foot range, but short term, big hit to Jared Allen. Long term, you got to think Andre Drummond gets traded. They basically gave up a first round pick to pay Jared Allen. So, yeah, you just got to weather the storm, and hopefully they trade Drummond sooner rather than later. Other than that, really, no other fallout. Besides JaVale McGee, who he was good. He was valuable, and now you pretty much can cut him loose once Allen suits up. Spent most of the 10 minutes talking about the trade, but still want to talk some basketball from the early games with some takeaways. We saw Kristaps Porzingis make his season debut, and he looked pretty good out there. I like how he was moving along the three-point line, which we know he's going to do. But overall, I thought he had a little bit of bounce. He had a little bit of a limp in the second quarter. May have just had some contact. No concern there. But yeah, again, really encouraging start. It's Alpha Lucas season's back. He has the ball in his hands for 12 minutes a game. He's driving close to 30 times a game. The rebounding numbers have been awesome. Had 4 blocks today against the small Hornets. Had a couple of nice ones on Graham and Rozier. Just domination. Rough game for Trey Burke. Weston Wondu got his first start of the season after Rick Carlisle said that he was, quote, spectacular in the last game. But we'll see what happened. James Johnson, your typical James Johnson line with the defensive stats. And we saw some Boban against P.J. Washington. And moving to the Hornets with that, yeah, P.J. Washington, they really trust this guy at the 5, even when he's not playing well. And Gordon Hayward, injury here, hip strain, he did not return. So we'll see a little bit of the Martin brothers if he's out. He is going to travel, so he's day-to-day. We'll see if he has an MRI or anything like that. So no panic button on Hayward. But obviously, if he misses time, that's more usage and playmaking for the guards, especially Mo, who didn't shoot the ball great today. Miles Bridges would also benefit. And, yeah, P.J. Washington, 17 shots for him. He's going to benefit a little bit. So really just a little bit of everyone while we wait for Hayward. And as I mentioned again, the Martin bros. I'd prefer Cody if I was adding one. He's a little better at the all-around stats. And Borrego likes his defense. Moving to the Knicks, not too many notes. We just saw Obi Toppin get 1 minute, I believe 57 seconds exactly. Just really ran up and down the court 3 or 4 times and didn't really look like he was limping. And we knew he was going to be limited because he only did contact with coaches, not players yet. So I don't even know why he played, but hey. And then also Emmanuel Quickley making a little bit of a sneaky move here as Austin Rivers looks like he's going to be the 2 for a little bit. He played okay, didn't shoot the ball well. As we still wait for Reggie Bullock, who was out. Alec Burks sounds like he's going to miss more time. So, yeah, maybe Quickly is going to get an opportunity here, especially with the Knicks kind of struggling. The worse the Knicks play, the more opportunity there could be for Quickly. Over the Nets for the most part, just wanted to mention Bruce Brown. Again, looks like he has a really firm grip, 15 and 14. He'll do a little bit more work. The scoring won't be there when Harden gets there. And Jeff Green, they really trust him. His minutes have been up really high. His minutes are going to probably come down when we see Harden out there, because we know KD can play a lot of 4. Just kind of had a bad loss against the Grizzlies, but Cat looked really good, especially in the first half. I thought Josh Okogie made a really big impact on the defensive end. He's going to earn minutes, some minutes at the 4, so it's going to be really tough for Juancho and Vanderbilt and all these guys to coexist, because Josh Okogie gives this team what they really, really need. And D'Angelo Russell's played great lately. He plays with a lot more energy, especially on the defensive end. So he's trending up after I was a little concerned to start the season. Just one more thing I want to hit at the 10-minute mark is Darius Bazley tweaked his right ankle, did not return. It looked really minor to me. Kind of stumbled over his own feet. He wasn't limping at all for like a minute. Came out with free throws. Didn't really look concerned at all. I think it was just a blowout, so he should be all right. And Alexei Pokusevski had a real nice late minutes, 3 blocks. He's further along than we thought, so I mean, you're not running to add him. But certainly on the radar if the Thunder could unload some players to get him more playing time. So that's going to do it for this edition. We're going to do a podcast with Dink and me about all sorts of topics. And we'll be back tomorrow with 3 Ball. Check you guys out later.